Thanks, Thien. And wow, how amazing was that from Sonia. Awesome to follow after her. Thank you, Sonia. So I would love, hopefully I can take you on a little journey that is thought-provoking as well. I think it's a challenge with this format to actually get through it, but I will try my best. And as I said, I'm from Germany, so if I lose some English words, I hope you don't mind. I think this really reflects how I feel a lot of times in the city. Lost, confused, disorientated. Where the hell do I have to go to find my next coffee shop? Things like that. Here you see on the next slide, you see a picture from Brisbane. Which way to the Queen Street busway? Where's Albert Street? Where's South? So a lot of times I see myself and other people now with a GPS on their phone, navigating through the city. How sad is that we have to actually experience our city like that? And now imagine how hard is it for people with sensory impairments. So for us it's hard, but then there's such a growing amount of people with sensory impairments that are really challenged by entering our cities and being part. And a lot of times what I found frustrating in the built environment design profession, we talk about universal design, inclusive design, but most of the focus is accessibility. It's all about wheelchair, it's all how wide do the pathways have to be, the doorways, but nobody looks beyond that. So here's just some data on how diverse our disabilities are, from autism, sensory processing disorder, intellectual, and vision and hearing, and then like 1 in 100 kids has now autism. In the 90s, it was 1 in 1,000. 1 in 20 sensory processing disorder. Nature deficit disorder people talk about. Mental health issues. So all these things are there, and they're growing dramatically. And there's some research saying by 2030, 25% of Brisbane's population will have sensory impairments. 25%. That's massive. So I think it's now the time, and I think it was great that Sonia mentioned, we just had the Brisbane for the Brisbane Master Plan, the Ideas Fiesta. It was for 6 weeks in May, and I'm sitting actually on the board of UDAL, it's the Urban Design Alliance of Queensland, and I initiated like a workshop called Brisbane, the City of 7 Senses, a city for everybody. That would be unique, imagine that. So we actually got together with a lot of different professions. We workshopped some ideas, pop-up ideas, how we can actually make the city of 7 senses. So you probably wonder, why is he talking about 7 senses? Is that a German thing? Is that a bit weird? Or why do they have more senses in Germany than here? Now, actually, a lot of people, we all know about the 5 senses. So I just have a little image on that. And I think that's, for me, I use the 7 senses approach that is really to connect or to close the gap that I see between the built environment professions and the health professions. Because this gap has to get close so that we can face the challenges of the future. So the 5 senses, obviously we can smell, we can hear, we can see, we can taste, we can touch. So then the occupational therapist, and my wife is one, I'm lucky, they talk about the 7 senses. So the 6th sense is the vestibular sense. It's in your inner ear. It's all about balance. So it's all about where you are in space. So a lot of kids, for example, with autism, they can spin for 20 minutes and don't get sick. You and me would go like, oh Jesus, this one not good. So they actually, a lot of times that helps them to calm down. So a lot of times special school teachers come to me, hey Toby, can you design us like a quiet space where no, actually they need a spinning, they need actually high impact to actually calm them down. And then the 7th sense is proprioception, it's your muscle sense. It's actually like how you feel yourself. So when you close your eyes and can be able to clap your hands. So a lot of kids, again, they have this issue, they're sitting in the classroom like this, maybe one of you is doing that all the time as well, and they actually do it to feel themselves, to then be able to listen. So in schools we can give like stress balls, instead of sending them home and saying, hey, this is something, you're a bad behaved kid. So then a couple of months later, I actually saw a competition from the UK called Building Trust International. They called out all over the world for people to look at their city and go like, Jesus, what is not really working? How can I make my city better with a design intervention? I looked on my street. I live on Alma Road in Clayfield. Beautiful street, 26 meters wide, 20 meters for the car. 20 meters for the car. I was like, this is something I can change. I'm from Germany. We have play streets. We have community streets. So I actually partnered up with Guy Marbeli and we designed a 7 senses street, a street that slows down the traffic through design, brings community back together, wayfinding through the 7 senses. I didn't win this competition, but it was better because it went all over the media, ABC radio, everybody loved it. So I thought, wow, there's obviously some merit here in Australia. Maybe Australia is ready to get behind that movement. So I started with Linda together, the Seven Senses Foundation, really focusing on making better neighborhoods, making sensational neighborhoods. Here you see my wife and the little boys. So we actually, on that, we had only 4 weeks to go. We set up a website, a Facebook page. We got people behind us, and then we set up our street, for example, and just got some trees making this half circus. First, everybody was so scared, just playing in the corners. Suddenly, the whole street was occupied. The cars slowed through. I didn't get a permit from council. I thought, like, the fine is exactly the same money than to apply for a permit. That will be all right. It was great. We had so much fun. There was another guy, Bailey, set up more in an urban commercial part. And a really interactive footpath. So you see it on the next one. So with mini golf, and they painted the fence, and it really got a community sense together. And again, we got great feedback. All the people on Facebook loved it, and we had over 25 events all over Australia. So we had some in Brisbane, was probably the hub, but then we had some in Sydney, we had some in Darwin, we had some all over the place. And I think my call to action to you guys is like, if you want a sensational city, as Sonia said, get involved. And we're doing the next this year, International Seven Senses Street Day on the 15th of November. On our website are heaps of ideas how you can get involved with very little to very big scale stuff. Do it at home, help us to actually make Brisbane and our neighborhoods sensational. Thank you, guys.